Hi guys, it's Mara. Welcome back to another one of my videos, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 things I wish I knew as a university freshman. I'm going to be honest, today I'm not really feeling it. I'm not as chipper.
Okay, your timer is set for 27 minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, if I'm a little more grumpy than usual, it's because I am. As you can tell, I'm really still fucking grumpy. I'm gonna stop telling you I'm grumpy. The video starts now. If you guys don't already know, I just finished my first year at Western University. I'm in the MedSci program, and I lived in Res. I lived in Ohio. I'm going into my second year. I just finished my distance studies biochem course, so I will be going into second year in September. But yeah, these are some tips or some things that I wish I knew a year ago that I think might be useful for you guys. So my first tip would be to try and maintain the same type of schedule that you had before you moved out to university. Try and maintain some sort of regularity. Like for me specifically, I stopped exercising. I used to be a competitive gymnast, so going from many hours a week in the gym and also having a job and doing all these other extracurriculars to pretty much only having school. Like a month in, I started exercising again. I started trying to keep more of a schedule. I tried to keep myself more accountable to do things that weren't school, and that helped a lot more with like my mental health and also like just feeling like I have to be more productive. By exercising more and scheduling when I wanted to do different things that weren't school, I was able to be more productive, and it generally helped my mental health a lot more. Zoe! So like if you participated a lot in clubs in high school and you put a lot of your extracurricular time after school into that, try and find some clubs at university where you can kind of do the same thing. I know for a lot of people like me, sports was a big thing, so for me I used to do gymnastics. So when I didn't work out for like the first month of university, I definitely was not as productive. I was grumpier. I felt more lost because I didn't have anything that reminded me of like what it was like when I was at home. So like go to the gym, join like a intramurals team. My second tip is to remember that you are adjusting. Things aren't going to be the exact same as high school. So even though you can try and control your schedule and your time to fit it so it reminds you a little bit like it was at home, things are never really going to be the same, and I think that can be good. When you go into university, you're not going to know everyone. No one's really going to know you. So it's like really a new environment. So you just have to remember that like a lot of people are trying to like rediscover themselves and find themselves and like redefine who they are in a new environment. And that gives you the time to do that as well. I think when I think about this and what made me want to say this is like me and some of my friends would sometimes have problems with people back home, or like, I don't know, used to like feel smart or like special. I remember in high school I did feel smart. I felt like I was at least a little bit above average, and I worked really hard, and it did pay off. Whereas in university, it took a little bit longer to get used to how the assignments work and how classes work and how you have to kind of teach yourself a lot more. So I was definitely not even close to average. Like I went from feeling like this compared to the rest of the people to feeling like this. It's really important to just remember that that's kind of a part of first year. I think a lot of people look back at first year and say that, yeah, it was the hardest year. There's just so much stuff going on. It's a really new environment. So just like kind of take it easy on yourself. And that kind of leads on to my next tip which would be to control your expectations, or kind of expect the unexpected. I think I had a lot of expectations going into first year, and that can kind of set you up for failure because it's really hard for things that you can't control to meet your expectations. So that's like whether it's making friends in the first week and instantly hitting off with people, or doing really well in school like you had in high school. So if you go into first year expecting nothing to be the same, you expect for things not to go your way, because majority of the time they won't.
Play me your pretty little song. Yes, Mama.
And then that also leaves room for like when things do go your way and things turn out for the better, it can really surprise you and lift your mood up a lot and give you a little bit more confidence to like keep doing what you're doing. I found that like I expected myself to do really well in school, to have friends instantly, to like have a better mental health and like escape from like everything that was going on in Vancouver for me, and that doesn't necessarily happen, and that really like affected my mood and my mental health. And I think that if I had gone into it expecting things to be the same, or things to just like really, or like not expecting anything really, I know that I would have been a lot better off. But yeah, even taking this into second year, I'm trying to set myself up to not expect things to be better this year because I'm more adjusted to university. I'm not expecting like too much from like online school and how that's gonna work. I'm kind of trying to go into it with the mindset of expecting that things will not go my way. I mean, that's surely what happened last year. Expecting too much of yourself, or like expecting yourself to control things you can't control, can sometimes just like not help when you're dealing with so many other things. And then I guess that also leads into my next point, which is kind of to pick your battles. There's so much going on in first year. You're meeting new people, you're living in a new environment, you're learning to live with new people in a new environment, you're learning how to learn differently, you're learning about the new place that you're in. There's like so many different factors that are changing in you in first year. Even like within your academics, you kind of just have to pick your battles. There's no way that you can sustainably give 100% into everything that you're doing and everything new that you're learning. And it's really easy to like burn yourself out expecting that you can face everything. An example of how I picked my battles, I guess, was with school. Spanish. You guys probably heard me talk about Spanish before. But Spanish was my elective, so I wasn't really that interested in it. I just needed to get the B credit over with. And for Mensa, you only needed 60% in first year. So I tried so hard to actually learn the language because I was like, this is an opportunity for me to like do well, learn something new. It would be kind of a flex to just know Spanish. And I kind of do, but I also definitely don't. After the first couple tests in Spanish, it was like not sustainable for me to keep giving this much energy into this, and it was taking away from like my more important classes that I needed the actual information more for the rest of my 3 years at university. So I decided kind of just like put Spanish on the back burner. I didn't like completely give up on it, although it really feels like I did. I might have. But I just knew that all I really needed was that 60%. I think that generally improved a lot of other areas that I could have improved, such as like going to the gym, which helped a lot with my mental health, which helped me keep doing my schoolwork as well as I needed to do. It took like the stress away of just like having that expectation that I have to do well and I have to know this language by the end of the year. First year university is a lot about deciding where you want to put your energy and what you think is most important. Like in high school, for example, you learn everything because you're trying to figure out what you actually enjoy. And in university, you get to do your major, you're in a specific program that's more of what you enjoy. So that should be the same for your social life and your extracurriculars. Sorry, that thing is really fucking annoying. But yeah, overall, I think in general, it's just kind of like learning to prioritize what you think is most important. There's just no way that you can put 100% into everything that you're doing. So that being said, my next tip is YOLO. And I would say implement this tip into every aspect of first year. School-wise, YOLO. Learn a different language. Like, if you are scared to do something or scared to participate in class, just do it. Like, what is stopping you? There's so many people in your classes, especially in first year. No one is gonna remember you if you ask a stupid question. I guess in terms of yourself, university is a great time to like reinvent yourself, or not reinvent yourself, or just be the self that you've always wanted to be. Whether that be like wearing the things you have actually wanted to wear but been too scared to, or be outgoing. Like, now is your chance to just like leave behind all the fears that you had in high school and just be you. And I guess that kind of carries on into like socially. Like, don't be afraid to like show new people in university in res, anyone you meet, like who you really are, because there's so many different people in university that you are bound to hit it off with one of them. So kind of YOLO. Like, I've learned that like through TikTok. This TikTok, and it was this girl, and it was basically like, the clothes you're wearing are so skimpy, like you look like a slut, something like that. And then she was kind of just like, I don't really fucking care because I only look like this once. I'm not getting any younger, so why not show off what you have and what you're proud of and what you've like maybe been working on. So whether that be like your body, in her case, or like what you've been like dreaming of like wanting your life to look like. So that TikTok where it's like, you have to start romanticizing your life. You basically have to live like a main character, you know the sound I'm talking about. But basically it's telling you just like dream, do what you've always dreamed of doing. My dream right now is to shut that thing off. But yeah, YOLO. If someone asks you to do something in the back of your head, you're like, yeah, I've actually always wanted to do that, but you're a little bit scared, YOLO. You're gonna try and use your fake ID for the first time, YOLO. You're gonna go to the gym even though it's really fucking scary and there's a lot of people in Gymshark leggings that look amazing and you're scared because you look like a stick and a rat. YOLO. YOLO at everything. Unless it's like really dumb. But that's your prerogative. My next tip would be to consider your future self. I think this works for a lot of aspects, but mostly like academically and like mental health wise, like thinking of your future self and having little goals. Like I think me and some of my friends were struggling with what do we do about like the problems that we're having with the people back home, or like adjusting to like being in a new place. And I know a tip that I gave Abby a lot was to do it for your future self. So if you have the urge to text someone something angry or something that's just like simply not productive, like what is that going to do for your future self? Like someone's going to come back at you and it's just going to elongate the process of like this like hard thing that you have to go through with this friend who's across the country. You know what I mean? I'm finding it like hard to explain to you how I described it, but like I'm gonna call Abby and see what she has to say. She doesn't answer, it's right now.
Hello?
Oh. I hung up on her.
Hey,
I accidentally hung up on you as soon as you answered.
what did you just say to me?
I just hung up on you as soon as I answered. You answered.
Oh,
Okay, can you quickly like answer a question for me? I'm filming a video and I'm having difficulties explaining something.
yes, are you trying to prank me?
No, I'm not. And I was talking about, you know how I always say to you when we're having problems that like do it for like your future self, or like think about how
Yeah,
it'll.
of course.
I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean?
I think the best way to say it is like you gotta think in however long, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, is it gonna benefit you what you're about to do? Or does it even matter?
Facts. Okay, yeah. So like,
Just be like, yo, if you look at yourself in a month, 2 months, however long, think, are you gonna care that this is happening?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna regret responding in the way that you do?
exactly. Okay, that's pretty much all I needed you to say. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, bye,
Love
love you.
you. You heard what she said. I don't know how to explain it better. It's more, I can say this better when it's situational. So if you're having issues, let me know and I'll explain it better. You do bad on a test. Does this even matter by the time you've graduated and have your degree? No. Right? Like, can you recover from this test? Yes. So will it matter? No. Right? So there's no point in stressing about it. That thing needs to shut the fuck up. Let's move on. Or can I talk about two things in one? Baby goals. You set things up in baby steps, it's less daunting. Like, don't think of like, okay, by the time I finish first year I need to have this exact grade, and such a big picture when you think of it like that. So instead of like breaking it up into little goals, like this midterm, I need to get this grade. To get to that midterm, I need to study this much. So today my goal is to study this much. And eventually all those tiny little goals will add up to your big goal of like doing well in that midterm. And then you think about the final and you're studying like, okay, today I'm really not feeling the studying vibe. I think my goal is to go to the gym and exercise and free like my brain space and just get the blood pumping, and then we'll see how I feel. And then hopefully after you exercise, your goal can be to like sit down for at least 3 hours and just read through your notes that you wrote the other day. It's like little goals, and eventually that can help you lead up to the big thing. Because I think when I thought about like finals and like, holy shit, I need to get this fucking grade or I'm gonna be kicked out of my fucking program, it was really overwhelming and like not helpful, because I would just sit there and be like, what the fuck, how do I start, like how do I even start doing that? So I think like thinking of your big goal, yes, but the little things that you can do to lead up to that are like the things that you can work towards. And like I said, like just studying for 3 hours can be your goal for the day. Once you get the ball rolling, it's a lot easier to get going. My 8th tip would be to get help when you need it. Going to like the help center hours or to office hours and just sitting there and listening to the other people can be really helpful sometimes, and listening to the questions that other people have. Asking for help from your friends for like notes from a lecture you missed or trying to explain something can maybe less daunting. It also applies to like when you're living in res. Like if you're having problems with someone on your floor, talk to like your RA or your Don or your soft. Talk to like maybe other people on the floor that know this person. If you're having problems like adjusting and you like don't feel like you're very comfortable in res, that's another thing your RA is literally there to help you with. They're being paid to do that. And then when it comes to mental health, when you're not feeling good, it's really important to like talk to someone about it, because I mean, more often than not, if you talk to a friend about like an issue you're having, like you're just overwhelmed with school and like you can't do anything and you feel stuck, like the chances are some of your friends are feeling like that too. Maybe not as extreme, maybe more extreme, but like having that community and like knowing you're not alone can really help. But again, like when it gets really, really difficult, asking for help, like at Western they have res counseling, so that's really easy resource. It's literally, it was in my building, so I did that. Like there's so many resources. There's like also counselors on campus if you don't want like a res counselor. But yeah, there's like so many resources where you can go ask for help if you need it. And like, although university is a business and they're just trying to make money off of you, it's also like they have a legal responsibility to help you out in that type of way, or like as best as you can, especially mentally. Students have like peer programs that they set up for kids who are not feeling so good. So there's always like an opportunity to find help, especially if you're looking for a specific type of help. So just like do your research, ask around, open up to people. My next tip, 2 tips were a little bit more jokes, but my 9th tip would be to genuinely don't take drinks from strangers. We went to Saugeen once and we took a random ass drink from someone and we watched him make it, but it was still like, we thought there was something in it after we had it, but it was just a drink we'd all never had before. It was Jaeger. It was a Jaeger rum, but like I've never had that before, and it was like Red Bull in it too. So I think the caffeine and then the Jaeger just didn't mix well, and it was really scary for us. But like that potentially could have been really bad. Again, like if you're at the club, don't like take a drink unless you see them pour it and they hand it right to you. Stuff like that. Like it's such a like thing that people say, but like genuinely it's like scary when you're like, fuck, should I have not taken that, you know? And then my last tip is like, if you're living in res and like food in Western is actually pretty good, especially Ohal. Boy, oh boy, do they oil that shit up so much. Like there's so much oil sitting at the bottom, like stir fry. And like salt, they add salt to everything. Another quick tip is if like they're making something for you, like a stir fry bar or like the interactive bar that they have that day, ask for like no oil or like very little oil, or like tell them you're dairy free or something, so that they'll cook your grilled cheese sandwich on a new grill that doesn't have all that like gross fat on it, you know? They think creatively, and you can ask them not to put as much food or like oil or like rice or like meat, like anything. Like if you feel gross about something, say it, and then it'll help. Pretty much my tips for first year, a lot of the lessons I learned in first year at least. Hopefully that was useful. If you enjoyed videos like this or have any suggestions, like if you have like specifically res tips or study tips, or yeah, I would genuinely love to do like a going out like hats video, like taking photos of like your coat check thing, or like how to get free drinks and stuff like that. I would love to do a video like that. So if you have any ideas or things you want to see from me, let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking for video ideas. But yeah, hopefully I will see you guys next week. Enjoy. Sorry I'm grumpy today. Yeah, also the shirt. A lot of the times you're just looking at that. The shirt I showed in my last video, I did like a summer haul. This is one of the shirts I got for $20 from Aritzia. So if you're interested in some summer fits, you can go over there and look at that video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I've been trying to post a lot more there, and that's what I'm most active on. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.